Okay, well, welcome everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today for our final webinar of 2024. So I'm Katie from the Customer Success team, and I'm joined by my colleague Huli, and today we're going to take a deep dive into some advanced features of Cledara. We also want to cover the most asked questions by finance leaders and show you how to get the most out of your Cledara account with a real focus on saving money, on improving efficiency and effectively planning, right? Or planning effectively. So thanks to everybody who submitted a question. If you didn't get the time, or as we go through the webinar, you have some more questions, please submit them to us by using the Q&A section in the Zoom tab down below or on the side, wherever you have it. Make sure you leave your contact information, so if we don't get time to address them all, we can get back to you. In that Q&A section, we'd also love to hear your suggestions for webinar topics. Some of the suggestions for next year are around cash flow management. We've had the suggestion of a discussion around the role of finance and as a partner from the business. So if those sound interesting to you, or you've got other ideas or things you'd love us to discuss, or you'd even like to join us here on stage next year, again, pop it in the Q&A and we'll make sure to be in contact. So finally, we are recording this webinar. A copy will be made available to you. We'll send that out tomorrow. And I think that's everything for housekeeping. How about we dive straight into it? Huli, do you want to kick us off with our first question, our first tip?
I'm excited about this one. So the first question is about one of our most important features, invoice capture. We know how important it is for you, so I'm glad to start with this one since our product team made some improvements. Question is, how do I know if my team members have their inboxes connected? Well, admins can now check the connection status of all of inboxes in the settings and members page. This page now displays detailed information, including whether that user has connected their inbox, the current status, and the specific email being used. So if an inbox is not connected, you can easily see who is and follow up with them. So connecting is easy and more invoices are collected automatically. This will be less chasing for you. And speaking of reminders, we've also made an improvement to make this process even more efficient. Admin and finance users can now send reminders directly from the My Tasks tab, and these reminders can include customized, personal, eye-catching messages, helping to get the attention of application owners about missing invoices. In a couple of clicks, you can send a reminder without needing to chase this person outside the platform. So if you didn't know about this improvement, I believe that more than one person will check these connections after the webinar. And our next question is about unnecessary costs. So Katie, since you're an expert on the subject, would you like to answer this one? Question is, how do I identify opportunities to reduce costs?
Yeah, Huli, this is one of my favorite topics to talk about with customers. So with Cledara, you get visibility over your software stack, you know how much you are spending per software, per team. And if you use our Engage feature, you know how much usage your tools are getting. So with all of this information, Cledara can surface to you the tools that you should be looking into. So I really want to show you insights. So if you click on the bulb up in the top right, if you've got insights on your plan, this is broken down into 4 main areas, right? And these are going to be the tools that you want to zero in on. So first of all, we have duplicate software, right? These are tools that are duplicated and you might want to look into consolidating, and perhaps there's an opportunity to consolidate into one account and save some costs there. We have similar apps, so we don't expect finance teams to know what every tool does. So this is helping you sort by kind of category. So again, you can surface here where you've got 2 tools or 3 tools even doing the same function. And once again, there's an opportunity to consolidate and potentially save costs there as well. This third piece is about utilization, and this is coming from the Cledara Engage extension. It tells you about how much usage your tools are getting. So if I dig into this one here and click review, this is being highlighted as a low usage tool. So what can I see here? Out of the 12 people who've used this tool, only 2 of them have used it in the last 30 days. So we're paying over £2,000 a year for this. Perhaps we need to have a quick conversation with Gerard here about what this tool is. Are we paying per seat? What kind of plan are we on? And do we even really need this tool anymore? So you can see how this sparks that conversation. And finally, here we have spend change. Now, with my demo data, it hasn't come up, but this will tell you about any increases or decreases in costs month on month. And that's going to be driven from your report section. So, for example, you'd be able to drill down. And for example, it would highlight that Zendesk has been creeping up month on month. So again, do we want to talk to the owner of Zendesk about why this cost is increasing and just make sure we're all on board with that? The second thing I want to show you really quickly, and a really great way to reduce costs, is by negotiating a better deal, right? And this is when you want to come and look at your benchmarks data. So I'm going to come to an application here. Let's pick Asana. Okay, and I'm going to come to benchmarks and negotiation. Okay, so this is taking data from, as you see here, over 1,000 transactions, and it's basically showing you if you are over or under the average cost for this tool for a company of a similar size as you, right? We had a customer tell us they saved 17% on their Adobe subscription by using this data. So there are some real savings to be made here. So this is telling me that it looks like we're overpaying for Asana. And if I scroll down, we've even created the email for you. So you can copy this to the clipboard. You can send this to your Asana contact, and fingers crossed, you can get a really great deal on next year.
Nothing makes us happier than customers who reduce unnecessary costs with our features, right?
Yeah.
So actually, the next question has something to do with it, which is, how do I get ahead of yearly renewals and trials? Well, we have some powerful features to help you stay on top of this. I'm pretty sure that everyone has that example of entering their cart for a trial, forgetting about it, and getting billed. So to avoid this frustration, let's talk about renewal reminders. You can set up automatic reminders for any subscription, and these reminders notify you well in advance and more than once if needed as well, for an upcoming renewal or a trial expiration. So you have enough time to assess if this tool is still delivering value or if you just need to renegotiate the contract or even cancel it. Second is adding tags to an application. This will add another layer of organization. So you can create custom tags for each application, such as annual or trial, and then easily filter your subscription by those tags. So for instance, if we want to quickly see all of the tools with annual renewals or trials coming up, you can do this in just a few clicks. And finally, you can export reports filtered by these tags. This allows you to analyze trends and share insights with your team, making sure everyone is aligned with upcoming renewals and expenses as well.
Yeah, those reminders are really useful. And I'd say as a best practice, most customers will set them to at least 3 months before an annual renewal. And if you combine that with the benchmarking data that we just saw, right, if you've set your renewal reminder, you're 3 months before, you look at your benchmarking data, not only can you get ahead of the renewal, you might even get a better deal for it. So what's our next question, Huli?
Next question is, how can Cledara help me with budgeting? Okay, first, since we are in the report feature, this will give you a clear view of your team historical spend. You can sort this data by team, by category, or tag to identify trends and see exactly where your budget is being allocated. This data is also exportable, so you can easily analyze it and share it with key stakeholders if needed. We heard that many customers told us that they use this export to build their 2025 budget. So if you haven't done it, just feel free to check it out. So when going into budget conversations, here you have a clear starting point of spending from last year, breaking down by team. For a more proactive approach, admins can establish team budgets, and these budgets are directly tied to the team, helping you stay on top of your forecast in real time. Here you can also establish a team manager who can see the spend against the budget and can also approve or decline the addition of a new tool with our approval flows. The great thing is that this budget information is also reflected in the reports tab, allowing you to track your new progress and adjust as needed. Now, when it comes to building an effective budget, there are a few key principles that we learned from Sophie Conahan, one of our customers who participated in one of our webinars, that we recommend keeping in mind. The first one is define and agree the purpose of the exercise, whether if it's reducing unnecessary spending or allocating funds for new tools. It's good having a clear goal of your budget efforts. Then it's know your business plan. This one's about understanding your team's objectives and future projects, and will help you anticipate the needs to allocate resources effectively. Third one is back up your assumptions. So using the data from the reports feature that we just showed you will justify your decisions. I think this one's the most important one. It's keep it simple. So forget about overly complex budgets, which are hard to manage. So stick to clear categories and priorities. And the last one is iterate and consult. It's okay if you don't get it right on the first time, just involve your team, anyone who should be involved, gather feedback, and adjust as you go.
Thanks, Huli. Yeah, that was a really great webinar with Sophie. It's up on YouTube if anybody wants to watch it. The next question actually in tip takes us away from budgets and focuses a little bit more on process. And I think we've actually already had a question which this is going to help answer. So it's around our onboarding feature.
Yeah, actually the question is, do you integrate with HR tools? Yes, we do. Our users find this as a game changer tool for managing employee access to their software. So first, our onboarding feature streamlines the process of granting or revoking access to software tools. When somebody joins the company, this feature acts as a central hub where you can manage all of the software needs in one place. So this will ensure a smooth and efficient start, and most important, will create a great first impression. Let's take a look at Harald's onboarding process. Here we can see he's joining the marketing team. So by default, he will be assigned the company stack, and since in joining the marketing team, all of the tools that the marketing team uses. In addition, we have a little drop-down below. If Harald needs to use another tool that's outside the marketing team, you can also request it. When employees leave, our offboarding process is exactly the same, but in reverse. So as you see, we pick up data from the onboarding process, from the access request, and also from Engage. This will ensure a safe digital exit by creating a process in which tool access needs to be revoked, protecting sensitive company data. When it comes to HR integration, in this account, we are connected to Bamboo, but if you head to your settings and integration and you scroll down, you can connect your tool. We've also added an access request feature to reduce admin work. So here employees can request access to a specific software directly through Cledara. These requests are sent to the application owner and they will see them in My Tasks, or they can approve or reject them as well. They just simply need to add and remove users directly in the tool and resolve this task in Cledara, which is a place to track the progress of these requests. And last, we also make audit and compliance very easy to track. With just a few clicks, you can export a complete historical record of every user's access, either as a PDF or CSV, whatever you prefer. And this is specifically useful during audits or internal reviews.
Yeah, this has been quite a game changer, as you said, Huli. So if all your software is here in Cledara, then it's the single source of truth and we can run these workflows, right? And you just touched on compliance, and actually one of the questions that we have is around compliance, just that. So do you want to share that question with us as well?
Sure. I think this is our most frequently recent asked question. It is, I receive an email about compliance. How does Cledara help with my SOC 2 or ISO audit? Well, we understand that preparing for these audits can feel overwhelming, especially when it comes to managing documentation and showing that your software procurement process is aligned with compliance requirements. So this model is designed to keep everything about software in one place and make your audit process as smooth as possible. For example, if an auditor asks for a comprehensive list of all of the software your company uses, along with the associated risk assessment, you can just show all of the data organized and easily accessible in just a few clicks. How it works. So for every application, Cledara will help you to fill in the business case, the details of the product and service, the risk assessment, and we also have an exit plan. This will only be triggered if we mark an application as crucial. This ensures that your procurement process is structured, transparent, and audit ready. So if we click on the details of the business case, here are the answers of all of the questions. But I think that the most valuable thing is that you can delegate these modules. So let's say that the business case should be answered by another team. You can just type the email of this person and they will receive access to this business case to answer it. Important thing is that you can delegate this to any person inside or outside the company. So if you need to send this to your vendor, feel free to type their email and they will receive it. Then if we click on the compliance tab and go to management, here we'll see all of the ongoing compliance questions in progress. And speaking of questions, we created default ones to help you with the audits, but of course you can edit them, you can disable them, and most important, you can create a new question. Another important thing here is that you can display questions only if a logic is applied. So let's say that if you answered a question, another one will be triggered. This will help you a lot with your audits. So as you see, everything is housed in a centralized hub. So when auditor asks for specific information, you can pull it up instantly. And speaking of having all of your software in one place, Katie, next question is for you.
Yes, this is a really common question as well, right? How can I be confident that all my software is here and being managed in Cledara? So we know you want visibility over all of your tools. So how can you make sure you've got everything and catch anything new? And for this, I want to come back and show you Engage again. And this time we're going to look at informal SaaS. Now, for those of you that don't know, we're getting this information through the Cledara Engage extension. The extension works by essentially looking at the URL and checking it against our database of over 8,000, 9,000, I heard 10,000, I think the other day we're topping suppliers. So if there's a match, e.g. it's a software provider, we're going to show you the data. If it's not a match, e.g. someone's looking at a news website, we're not going to show you any data, right? We just want to show you business tools. So informal SaaS specifically, or shadow IT is what it's most commonly called in the industry. This is telling you about the software that's being accessed that you haven't added as an application yet to Cledara, right? So three main things here. Could be a free tool, right? But we still want to get those managed. So you can add as an application to Cledara, checking that this is a free service, right? You don't get a card, but it's going to show as an application and it's going to get managed. Second one, and this is really common if you're just kind of getting started with Cledara, you might have a few tools out there that are still being built on an old card that somebody has going somewhere. Well, this way you'll be able to pick them up. You can see who's been using it and you can target them. You can talk to them about how we're paying for this tool. And again, add it as an application. This time you want to get a card to pay for it and get it managed in Cledara. And what you might want to do, if you're not from the IT team on this call, this is going to be really interesting for your IT department or your client compliance department, because of course this is going to help you get ahead of any new tools that people are trialing or looking to bring into the environment that you might want to, check out, make sure they're safe and keep your company safe and secure.
Well, nothing's more important than having everything in one place, right? So how do we ensure that happens, Katie? I think we have a question regarding that.
Yeah. So we've had a question about the most common way that our customers build out their processes to add new software. So maybe this resonates with some people on the call, but many of our customers come to us from a very informal process. They had one or two cards. It's great when you're growing, but at some point you're going to have to formalize that. And with Cledara, it's really, really easy. And it's the place that key people can collaborate on the process. So what does that process look like, right? So the idea is that you give everybody in the company access to Cledara. Now I'm in an admin view, so I'm seeing everything, but the end user, they're going to come in, they're not going to see your dashboard or transactions, they're going to see applications, and they're not going to see the financials right from next payment onward. So for them, this is really the software directory, and this serves two purposes, right? It's going to avoid that duplication because you can see, right, we're already using Asana. I perhaps don't need to go and create a new account. And then this speaks to the process that Huli touched on, that request access process. So they can, request access to the tool, right? we were talking about adding a new application, right? So everybody comes in and hits add new application. Now, everyone on the call today, I'm sure you've done this many times, so you'll know this very well. So they fill out the form, right? They're going to tell you how much the budget is, request a virtual card, etc. But you can add these compliance requirements in. Now, Huli touched on our compliance module, and this is part of it. You can add these key questions in here. They may be questions that your IT team, your compliance team want to be asking before a card gets generated and somebody can go away and buy the tool. Once they fill that in and they hit add application, that's going to kick off your approval flow. Now, we offer up to two-step approval or dual approval, and you're going to set it up from preferences and you're going to turn it on. The two most common approval flows that we see are either one, the first step or the first approval is done by the team manager. If you come over to Teams, we saw this earlier, you can set your team manager. So perhaps someone from the success team ordering something new, the team manager will be the first person to approve. And then the second approver is a dedicated person, could be your finance, you in finance who have the final say. The second way that we see most companies do this is to allow the admins, that's most likely going to be you or the finance team, to be able to do that first approval. So there's your budget sign off, and the second approval is done by, again, a dedicated person who's most likely your head of IT or compliance, who will have the final sign off to say, yep, we're happy to bring this tool on board. And only when those two levels of approval are done will the card be created, and now the employee can go away and pay for their tool.
Follow-up question on this one, Katie. So once you have a process, how do you get everyone on board?
Yeah, getting everyone on board. We had a really great webinar with Luann Stain from Bowclip. She's the FinOps director, and she had some great advice for us. So I kind of want to share out what she said to us here. Her key advice was have a project plan and set yourself a deadline. And this leads into the second one, which is keep it simple. Luann shared with us that accountants like things to be perfect, but she was really an advocate for just getting started, all right? And lean on your existing resources within your business, right? So if you don't have someone with a FinOps role specifically, you might have an office manager, you might have an ops team who maybe are better or know more about rolling out processes and can help you. Lots of our customers or lots of in the call use something like Notion. You'll have an employee handbook, create the process there, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. We have resources that we can share with you, so you can copy and paste that into Notion. And when people ask you, how do I get new software? You send them there, and right, they can follow the steps. More advice that she had for us was, start with one team to test with, start small and then build it out. And then just keep advocating this within the company. Use your all hands. If you do lunch and learns, things like that, just keep talking about it. Anyone new joining the business, anyone stepping into a new management role, make sure you talk them through and they're aware of the process, right? And really finally is lean on your customer success manager. That's what we're here for. We've helped thousands of customers get on board with Cledara now. We can help with this. With recording trainings, we're on your side and we're here to help.
Perfect. And I think that's all our questions for now. I think it's a good place to end it today. So what we will do now, we'll just share a poll in case you want your customer success manager to contact you, to have an account review, or even to try any of our add-ons for free and have a tailored session with them. So if that's the case, feel free to do so. And yeah, again, thank you to you. Thank you to our customers. And as Katie mentioned, we're here for you if you have any questions. So please just contact us at support@success@cledara.com and we'll be happy to assist you.
Perfect.
And if we haven't answered your question during the webinar, we'll get back to you.
Sure. We have got one question coming, Huli. Shall we answer that now for them? And if you have any other questions, please drop them in before we wrap up today. But the question it was a kind of a bit about the onboarding flow. Someone asked us, is there a way for certain individuals to be able to authorize new applications before they are added onto the system? So I think we actually answered that with the last question, with the last point about the approval flow. So you can go to your preferences and set that up. I've got the screen up here. So whoever answered that one, hopefully that answers your question. And probably one final thing to say is if you're not seeing this on your plan, you're logged into your Cledara account, you're trying to follow along and you don't see any of these, definitely click that button on that poll to let us know that you'd like to speak with a member of the team and you'd like to learn more about any of the features that you've seen today. So yeah, I will end it there. Sorry, Julia, I just wanted to get that question in before we wrapped up.
No, please, we want to cover all the questions. Okay, I think that's it. We wish you a great holiday season and an efficient 2025. And yeah, thanks again.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great 2025. Bye.